live edition of The Lineup.
Welcome back. A new report says the Duke accuser gave contradictory statements to investigators and that credible evidence of a crime just wasn't there.
This comes 2 weeks after charges against 3 former Duke lacrosse players were dropped. Judge Alex Ferrer is here to explain what this means. He hosts Judge Alex. And Judge, good to see you.
Oh, thank you, Greg.
This is a big difference from saying we're not going to pursue the case. They came out and said innocent.
That's a huge difference. Absolutely. You know, everybody knew they dropped the charges, but there's a difference between dropping the charges because you can't prove your case and saying, you know, the person is not guilty, and saying that the individuals who are charged are innocent. That's a conclusion that these individuals did not commit the crimes they were accused of, and that is huge. And the report, the Attorney General's report, is very detailed in the reasons why.
Well, it is so detailed, and you thought you kind of heard it all until you read this report, and you realize that she had drugs in her system, that her story kept changing dramatically. So at what point should Mike Nifong have said to everybody, you know what, there just isn't a case here?
Well, of course, hindsight's 20/20, but when you read this report, it's readily apparent that early on there were red flags, and how these red flags were ignored along the way, you know, I don't know. I mean, rape accusations, of course, are extremely serious, and they have to be taken very seriously, regardless of whether the victim is a stripper or a prostitute or whatever. But all along the way, even from the beginning where the photo array was displayed improperly and done over and over and over again, and she failed to identify anybody until about the 3rd time, you know, these flags are coming up, and you just don't know why nobody's paying attention.
So it's clear that Mike Nifong's career in North Carolina politics is most likely over, but what about actually losing his law license? Disbarment has been thrown out. Now that you've seen this report, its detail, what are the chances are that he won't be able to practice law anymore? I
would love to hear his version of why things went wrong the way they did, because obviously I don't want to just base it on a one-sided report. However, you're talking about accusations that he intentionally prosecuted individuals he knew were innocent or should have known were innocent for his own political gain. If that is proven, if it's proven that was intentionally done, then I think disbarment's a very real option. Absolutely.
Well, and thank goodness that justice did prevail, although it took a long time, and it certainly caused a lot of damage to those 3 boys and their families. On a much lighter topic, and I know you heard about this case, this is so great, we have John Burlow on.
Glad they're under cognizance.
Of course, and Judge Alex, what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, of course, with the separation of church and state, you know, a person's ability to recite verses from the Bible is not a factor, and certainly it's not something you consider in bail, but that's not what this Judge Burlow was doing. I know exactly what he's talking about, because we used to test people when they come in front of us, even lawyers who come in front of us and say this person is this or that. You test them, and I remember individuals who come into court carrying their Bible to show how religious they were. They were charged with murder, and you say to them, you know, what do you think of the book of Genesis? And they say, I haven't got to that part yet. You know?
Judge, is the word out right now? Are defendants boning up on the Bible before they appear in your court?
They'll do anything they think will get them out of jail. There are more Bibles in the jail than there are First Baptist. Problem is, when you let them out, they leave the Bibles there.
That's right.
And that's true. I used to have a colleague of mine who said he was convinced that God resided in jail because everybody he sent there found him.
That's right.
Everybody becomes religious when they get to jail.
A lot of people do tend to become really religious. And Judge Burlow.
Our judge, Judge Alex Ferrer. And what do you say about this? I mean, he contends he was in the crosswalk. Yeah. The light had changed to don't cross as they were going through. He sees a car making an improper turn, jumps to save his daughter, and then results is that he's hit, but then given a ticket for jaywalking.
Yeah. It stinks.
That's the definition of a bad day. Yeah. Obviously, if he was in the crosswalk and it happens the way he says it happened, he shouldn't have gotten a jaywalking ticket. The question is, why did the police write it? What witness told them he was jaywalking? Because if your heart goes out to anybody who saves her daughter's life like this, but if the reason her life was in danger to begin with is because he dragged the family across the street jaywalking, then he should get a ticket. But somebody must have told the police something, and if it was the driver of the other car, well, you know, I mean, that's not very reliable. That person has a motive to lie.
Then why would they even, if it was the driver of the other car, why would the police even rely on that information?
Sometimes police officers make mistakes, and, you know, they'll cite both sides. But there may have been another witness, or it might have been the wife or Mr. Parr himself, who at the scene made a statement of what was happening, and, you know, they're changing their story. But it could very well be a police officer's mistake. He shouldn't have been cited if it happened the way he said. We just don't know what the exact details were.
Yeah, we're still waiting for all the facts. In any case, Brian Parr, we wish you a speedy recovery. Our prayers are with you. Judge, it's good to have you.
Thank you,
Judge. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Fun to see you.
All right, a lot more coming up.
Coming up, how the debate is playing out in Washington over the Iraq troop cutbacks, how it is being viewed by those it affects the most. We're going to have a live report from Washington coming up.
And exercises to keep your kids fit and healthy. How about that? They will